Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Marketing Made Easy by Jottful show. I'm Dawn, your host, and we have a really great episode for you today. We have Hendon here. He runs a real estate business, which sounds like it's one of the most commoditized industries out there, and it is, but Aaron has found a way to really stand out using content marketing. And what I so admire about Aaron's approach is his discipline. Every single morning, he spends 2 to 3 hours working on content, working on business development, working on marketing, touching base with his clients, including his former clients, and this has really helped him grow his business over time. He's inspired me. I think he'll inspire you too. Enjoy this episode.
My business is just me, so I need a marketing plan that I actually have time to do.
I never studied marketing, but I know I have to do it. Sometimes I just need help knowing where to begin.
I never know if the money I spend on marketing is really paying off.
Welcome to Jottful's Marketing Made Easy. I'm Dawn Verbrigghe, Jottful's CEO, two-time entrepreneur, former business school professor, and the one with the marketing experience.
And I'm Natalie Bruno, Dawn's partner in crime, certified people person, and the one who speaks with small business owners every day about their website and marketing challenges.
We're here to have practical and fun conversations with people who know a thing or two or three about how to get more customers for your business.
Today we have Hendon joining us from Seattle, Washington. Aaron is a managing partner at Christine and Company, and we met actually through LinkedIn. Aaron and I were part of the same group, kind of a LinkedIn pod, where we comment on each other's posts and we like each other's posts and we share content between us in order to sort of help build our own audiences and grow our networks. And I had the good fortune of meeting Aaron through there and just really, really liked his content. And it turns out that Aaron is in fact building his entire business on the back of content marketing. So I'm really thrilled to have him here today to talk about not only where he is today, but how he got there and really how he started and the process that he has gone through. Welcome, Aaron.
Thanks, Dawn. Thanks for having me. I'm really glad to be here. It's a pleasure, really a pleasure.
Oh, great. Aaron, can we just start a little bit by talking about your business? What is your founding story?
Well, I don't know about the founding story. I mean, if you go back, I'm from New York originally. I mean, I don't know how far back you want to go. But I've been a serial entrepreneur in a lot of ways for a long time. And I had a bakery in Albuquerque when I lived there. I have a fine art degree. So, which made me eligible to work in food service. That's how I got to.
I have a fine art degree too, and that does not make me eligible to work in food service.
Oh, you could totally wait tables anywhere you wanted to with your fine art, I promise you. And so I did that, and I really loved owning my own business. And then I went to work for a company called Landmark Worldwide. We put on transformational educational seminars for people around the world.
I know them. Yeah.
Yeah. So I lead programs for them, and I worked for them for about 11 years. And I still lead programs for them. And during that time, I met a woman named Christina Andreasen, and she was a real estate speaker and a realtor. And I thought we became friends. She was also leading programs. And then during that time, my wife and I had 2 kids, and decided to leave Landmark as a job and started looking for other careers. And everyone said I should get into real estate. And I finally acquiesced to the crowd and went to Christine, because she's one of these people that just, I don't know if you know people, like they just attract money, and I've never been that kind of person. And I was like, well, if I'm going to hitch my wagon to someone, I'm going to hitch my wagon to someone who generates money. Yeah. And so I went up to her and I said, all right, Christine, I'm ready to join your team. And she said, well, I don't have a team. I said, what do you do now? And that was in 2013. And we've been building a team of realtors ever since, really just on and off, for in different brokerages, but we've been business partners since then.
Yeah. And how big is your team today? Just to give us an idea.
I think we're about 15 now. I mean, we were at 20 something. We go up and down, we are fairly demanding in terms of performance and culture, and not everyone can hang.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So look, if you're going from 2 people to 15 or 20, you've obviously figured something out on the demand generation side, right? And one of the things that I think is so interesting about your story, Aaron, is that this business is not naturally differentiated, right? People are always saying, well, I specialize in these particular neighborhoods, but that's sort of the obvious dimension on which people always differentiate in your industry. But you found something different. You started looking in particular at the new home buyer market, and you started differentiating there. Can you talk about this process of how it is that you made your business really stand out in, frankly, undifferentiated industry?
Yeah, I mean, that's the standard, is to differentiate yourself geographically. And it's, look, a huge advantage to the realtor to differentiate yourself geographically. You don't have to travel as much. If you can become the neighborhood expert, you don't have to travel at all. You can just work a particular neighborhood. So it's completely advantageous to the agent to do that. And there's all sorts of content marketing ways to do that. I just found that it's not advantageous to the customer. And I have a more serious bent toward empowering people in general than doing things that are easier for me. And so I took on, and you do have to niche down in real estate. And I think anything really, you can't be all things to all people. I mean, we're talking about food service. The Cheesecake Factory is probably the exception that proves the rule. But, mostly restaurants do best with a limited menu, and realtors, any marketer really, or any business person does better when they niche down. And I just chose first-time home buyers because I have a particular commitment toward people building equity and inequity and equity in general as a principle. And homeownership is a pathway for that. So it's something I feel strongly about. And I think in terms of marketing, if you're going to relate it to entrepreneurs as a whole, if you're not passionate about what you're doing, why are you doing it? I mean, I don't think you can content market successfully for something you're not passionate about.
Oh, that's such a good point, Aaron. Yep.
Yeah. You just have to have something to say.
Yep.
You
will lose interest so quickly if you don't have passion for it. You have to be willing to go deep on the content.
And the people watching will lose interest. You have nothing interesting to say. Somehow that's just the image that came to mind. For a very short period of time, I played saxophone, and but I'm hanging out with musicians and stuff like that. And it occurred to me during learning how to play saxophone that if you don't have something to say, you can't solo. You need something you're committed to saying, something you're committed to communicating. And you need to learn your instrument well enough to be able to use that to communicate. And I think content marketing, there's some analogy, some metaphor there for that you need enough depth to what you're communicating, to what you care about, so that you have something worthwhile to communicate, that other people have something they're willing to watch. I don't know. I never thought about that connection before just now, but I think there's a connection there.
So in your industry, Aaron, there's a pretty clear, well-trodden path to generating leads, and that is basically buying leads off of websites such as Zillow and Realtor.com. And I know that you tried that in the beginning. How did you end up on this content marketing path? How did you decide, well, everybody else is zigging this way, I'm going to zag this other way?
Well, I mean, so to be completely honest, we do have a small portion of our budget to those going to those companies, but it's very much the small. 85% of my business comes from referral, content marketing, stuff like that. And part of it was I just have no interest particularly in chasing people. I don't enjoy it. It doesn't make me happy. It doesn't. It's a grind.
Yeah.
for me to do it. And I'd rather have people coming to me that are interested in what I'm interested in, or at least interested in learning what I think is important for them to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's something engaging. So I think a lot of the impetus for us to do that was just personal preference. It's definitely a longer burn, longer haul, it's a longer play. Zillow leads they just come in and you
Sure.
speed to lead is the name of the game there. How quickly and how often can you call them? And what you're in the beginning, we didn't want to spend the money on it. I mean, it's extremely cash intensive to do that, to buy those kinds of leads. And, if you're really good at it, 2%, 3% of them convert. If you're really good at internet leads, 3% convert. And that's an enormous amount of work for 3%. Content marketing is more interesting to me because I talk about things I'm interested in, or I find out what customers are interested in, and I can talk about that. I like to talk.
Yeah. But Aaron, let's be honest, content marketing is also an enormous amount of work. And you in particular put a lot of time into it, which is something that I really admire. And I've actually tried to emulate since our last conversation. I said, well, Aaron has this process, and I'll let you talk about what your sort of day-to-day, week-to-week process is for content marketing. But Aaron has figured this thing out. I really need to sit down and see how I could systemize it the way Aaron has.
Mm-hmm. Well, in terms of the, where we met on LinkedIn, the plan for me, or the calendar, the way that looks is I'll shoot 8 to 10 videos at a pop. I'll take 2 hours or 3 hours on a Tuesday, and I'll go into the office and I'll shoot. And 8 videos is a month's worth of content for me, because I'll shoot. I put 2 things up a week on LinkedIn. So whatever number it is that you want to do. And I do think it's critical that you do it regularly, like on a schedule, and you do it reliably. And you do it for a long enough period of time. I know we talked about getting into that part, but so I'll shoot the 8 to 10 videos at a pop, and then I'll send them to my editor. I got a guy off Upwork. So I outsource it, and I forget what country he's in, but it works out to be about $50 a video. And I'll shoot the video, and then I will get it captioned, from rev.com, which does $1 a minute for fairly accurate transcriptions. I'll send all that to my editor, and he'll send me back edited videos, in which case I do Mondays. I do Millionaire Mondays, which is my agent attraction recruiting date or topic, Millionaire Mondays, for real estate agents to become millionaires. And Fridays is First Time Home Buyer Fridays. I like alliteration, And so First Time Buyer Fridays. And then every Friday I have some topic that's useful for first time home buyers. And then every week it's a question of putting it out there. And then it goes up on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And my editor makes the different video formats. So Instagram is vertical, and Facebook is square, and YouTube is landscape, is horizontal. And, and then every week, Mondays, Fridays, and then I'll post other stuff during the week. I have a slightly different strategy for Facebook, which is really sort of my bread and butter is Facebook.
We talked about that. We talked about how important it is to build an audience. And you said, you've been working to build an audience on LinkedIn, but then one day you realize that you just have this audience already on Facebook. I think you said you're the sort of person who, has 300 wedding guests, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. My wife and I both are that kind of people. So,
and so you had those personal connections on Facebook. So you just decided to grow from that.
Yeah. I wanted to see, and really the thing on LinkedIn is to see, can I grow that kind of audience on LinkedIn as well? Because, that's the net worth of people on LinkedIn, and why people are on LinkedIn in the first place is to do business.
Right.
That's that nature. So, the content is different on LinkedIn, and the schedule is different. But Facebook is, I do those 2 posts. I put those on Monday and Friday, and maybe I'll do a couple more real estate related subjects on Facebook. But Facebook, I don't think rigorous is the right word, because I don't actually measure it, but I am
You're disciplined.
Disciplined about not putting too much real estate on Facebook. It's at least 80% personal stuff. And I know in business, we get coached, people get coached all the time, don't make it personal. And I don't know what business you're in, but if you're on Facebook, it's got to be personal. The only thing, and because, probably the most powerful thing someone ever told me was, look, all things being equal, people are going to do business with people they like, know, and trust. And then all things not being equal, they're going to do business with people they like, know, and trust. They're only going to do business with people they like, know, and trust. Yeah. So get personal, have your personal, my sense of humor is on there. Mm-hmm. My political leanings are on there. I don't shy away from that. I don't think it's authentic. I don't want to do business with people who don't think Black Lives Matter. I don't need to do business with every human being on the planet.
Right.
I'm not going to, and I don't need to. And I'd rather do business with people who resonate, who, I'm simpatico with. So I think, but LinkedIn is different. LinkedIn is, there's no room for personal stuff. Yeah. So, but more inspirational stuff. And I'd like to get more regular with posting other things than just the real estate stuff on LinkedIn. And I just haven't gotten there yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it can be difficult when you're switching between platforms, because every platform has its own personality, has its own audience, has its own voice. And that's why we often recommend that for business owners, that they just start like you did with one platform. Pick one platform, go really deep, build an audience there. And then once you really have that and it's solid, then you can start to look at other platforms. So exactly. I think you're right on.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about lead nurturing? Because I think this is one of the really interesting things that you do, is that you're really in this for the long haul. You're not just, taking those leads off of Zillow and Realtor.com, but you're really making sure that you're touching and you're keeping up with people even after they've bought houses with you. Can you talk a little bit about how you nurture people for the long haul? Yeah,
well, it's a great thing about the content that I make, is that it's useful for that as well. So every bit of, not every bit of content, but certainly the market updates that I do every month and other pieces of content go out via email or mass text. Mass texting is, a bane of me personally, but a godsend in terms of my ability to, connect with people, because everyone reads their text. No one reads their email and everyone reads their text.
Wait, what kind of content are you sending out through text message?
I have a service. I use BombBomb, which is a video email server. Mm-hmm. They host the email. They host the video. So I'll do regular market updates. Every month I do a state of the market for various areas in my region. And those go out via email. And then as I'm going through the individual touches of the clients, if they haven't opened the email, I send them that update via text.
Is that automated somewhere? If they don't open the email, then send a text?
No, I don't have that automated. I have a commitment to run through my database and touch my clients. Anyone who I've sold a house to, I'm going to physically talk to you 4 times a year, at least. And then they're always going to get a card from me. I do a card every about 6 weeks. And here's a cool content idea that I wanted to implement this, and then the pandemic happened. I don't know if you remember.
Something about taking people to lunch, right?
Yes, right. So we had this pandemic. So because real estate is so neighborhood oriented, and I can make so many connections that way, I've invited my clients to tell me about their favorite local joint. And now that the pandemic is winding up, I don't know what we want to say about it. I really want to support those restaurants. I really want to, I would love to hear about those. So I'm inviting my clients to tell me about the places they love that we want to go to. And I'll take my past clients out to dinner or coffee or beer or whatever the restaurant, whatever the place is. And I'll videotape our little meal. I'll do an interview with the owner on video, call the owner, say, hey, my clients love your place. I'm coming in to do lunch. Can I take 10 minutes of your time and get an interview with you? I want to hear about how you're doing. And then I'm going to send that out to my database. I'll post that on my social media. I'll give you a copy so you can post that on your social media, which then includes me on their mailing list.
Yeah.
And my client gets a dinner or whatever, beer, whatever it is. What $5,000 a month in Zillow leads, or I could spend $100 and buy my client's dinner. There's just no comparison between those dollars and the effectiveness of those dollars.
Yeah.
In my, there's just no, and I get dinner and a beer or whatever. And the whole thing is just such a mutual win. And so I'm looking really, I got my first one set up for beginning of June with, because my clients are my friends, my clients are my family.
Well, and I think what's really insightful here is that even though you're not in the kind of business we're in, right? We're in a subscription business. So our customers renew with us every single month. We have to win them every single month. Right. In your industry, like I would naturally think somebody is a client for one home sale and then you don't hear from them, but you treat every one of your past clients as somebody who could become a client for you again, right? Someone who could buy or sell a house again.
Yeah, they will become a client of mine again, for sure. I mean,
especially if they're first time home buyers.
Yeah, which anyone, I literally just sold a house for someone. I sold them the house 2 years ago, but they both lost their job during the pandemic. So they needed to move. So I sold them the house 2 years ago and I just sold their house last week. So they'll all become my clients again, but that's great. But more importantly, they're going to talk about me to their friends.
Right.
The people that they know, those are all going to be referrals. Everyone's going to give me, I like to think that every client of mine turns into 7. It's really important that you get lifetime value. I mean, you're a subscription model. So, lifetime value of a customer will give you your acquisition cost.
Yep.
Will give you what you can spend. And the lifetime value of my clients, of a realtor's clients in this market, it's over $100,000 over their life in terms of commission to me. And just in terms of the houses they buy and sell, their kids, their friends, their family, it's got to be over 100K. So I can spend a lot of money on them.
Yep.
I can spend I can take them to dinner.
Yep.
And again, I think that's just a way more interesting path than buying an internet lead is. I don't have any problem with Facebook market, like ads and stuff. It's fine. It's just never going to get the bulk of my attention and it's never going to get the bulk of my money.
So Aaron, one thing that we hear constantly from business owners is, I keep trying these marketing things. I keep trying. How long is it going to take, right? How long is it going to be before I find the thing that's actually working for me? And am I going to know right away? Or is it going to really take me a while to understand whether or not this is going to be the growth engine for my business? How long did it take you to even start doing content marketing and then to figure out content marketing was really going to be the growth engine?
It's such an interesting question because I don't know. I don't have a great answer to that. I think I just got enrolled in content marketing right away, just because education is a thing for me. It's, it's a passion and it's something I'm interested in. So I was never going to stop on content. I was never going to, there's just too much evidence that it works for other people for me to think it wasn't going to work for me. So the idea of content marketing was never, whether it was going to work or not was never a question. Content marketing works. Gravity works. I don't argue about things, right? And direct, there's so content marketing works. The question was, what's the content? What's the channel? What's the frequency? Those kinds of questions. And we were talking earlier, we met through a company that puts together pods of people, and it's a subscription service. It's $50 a month. And it's a fairly nifty little piece of software that they have that organizes it. And I thought, all right, if I'm going to, so I already have this massive following on Facebook, and my system is wired for that. It was where I was already, so I wasn't, that was, so if I just look at Facebook and it was probably 3 years before I really realized that the bulk of my business was coming from just the awareness that Facebook provided me, with the community that I had. I think it could have been, I think I could have discovered that earlier had I been interested in tracking where my business came from.
Everyone always has that hindsight. Oh, if I had realized earlier that this was working out, I would have doubled down on it. But it takes a while.
It takes a while. And, but you get what you inspect, not what you expect. You have to measure that where does your business come from? So, and then I decided this, late last year, I was like, all right, I'm going to make a full on play for LinkedIn. I'm going to be reliable. I'm going to, do all the things I already just said are important to do. I'm going to do them on LinkedIn. And I joined with this company. That's how we met. And I said, I'm going to give it 6 months. So I set a time for myself.
Yep.
How long would it take for me to see some kind of return on the investment of time that LinkedIn is, and some kind of return on the investment of time that this company is for the thing, for the software. And, it's not a huge investment. It's $50 a month. It's not like some onerous amount. So I will have spent.
But there's a time commitment for sure.
Yeah. Well, there's a time commitment on LinkedIn, and I don't. My window for this company is 6 months. I don't think I have a window on LinkedIn. I don't think I have. I think LinkedIn works. It's just, I have to figure out how to get it to work for me.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's a chance that LinkedIn doesn't have anything to provide for my business. It doesn't make any sense that it wouldn't.
As an entrepreneur, you sometimes just have to use your intuition and have a hunch about something. Like, I really feel like this is the right audience, and I just need to figure out what channel is going to allow me to reach them. Or I really feel like this is the right channel, and I just need to figure out what content is going to work with the audience, right? You have to have a hunch because you just don't have enough data in the beginning.
Yeah, that's right. And maybe a year from now or 2 years from now, it'll be like, okay, that wasn't worth it. But I just can't see how. I don't see how making content doesn't work. There's just a million things you can do with it. You cut it up, you send it as videos. I have content that I send to my clients. Like, I don't understand about earnest money. Great. Here, watch this video I made.
Yeah.
So I'm not, so there's just a ton of ways of doing it. And, and especially in the beginning, it's important. I think if there was a message there, I think it's important for people just getting started to really nail the basics. Content marketing is a long burn. Okay. You need to match that with something that's a short burn. Internet leads or cold calling. In my field, cold calling, phone calling people. If we get new agents and they don't get on the phone, they don't stay with us, because there's no way in my business really to get any traction without picking up the phone. So there are, so you can't just count on content marketing to get it done in the beginning. I don't think. I mean, maybe some people can, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
So I think it's a combination, and I don't, I think we're really bad at things that don't have an answer. Have an answer. As human beings, we're bad if it doesn't have an answer. And this is one of those that doesn't have an answer. You're different. I'm different. Our businesses are different. Our clients are different. Everyone's unique, and you've got to you got to discover it. You got to be in it to discover it, I think.
I really like how you talk about sort of the self-awareness. You said, I knew that I was okay making content, or I was fine doing video. The guest that we had on last week was similar. She said, I knew that I was really good on video. I knew that I was really good giving presentations, right? Both of you just had that self-awareness, took that and said, how can I leverage this, right? How can I take this as a base and really build a growth engine on top of it? I think that's fantastic. To your point, good. Everybody's unique, and everybody's going to have something different that works for them.
Totally. That's right. And some people are not. First of all, it's so funny that you say that, because I I know that I'm great in front of a room and with
Uh-huh.
people, and I did want to maximize that. But so is my business partner. So is Christine. She's a great, but I cannot get her to shoot video, save her life. I literally cannot. I'm the only one on our YouTube channel, but not because I don't want everyone on the team making video, but I'm the only one who does it. I think video in particular is one of those
Oh, yeah.
bars that you got to get over yourself. You got to be willing to look bad, sound bad. I can't rewatch videos of myself. Ooh, the thought of listening to myself talk is horrendous for me. So
I know.
I can't do it, but you got to get over yourself. If I don't think there's any way to make it in any kind of service or whatever industry you and I overlap in, like being of service to people, education, marketing like that, where video is not the answer.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you that we're using video a lot at Jottful now. And it really came out of the fact that our customers who are small business owners, micro business owners, really want to have a personal relationship. It's all comes back to what you said before, right? People aren't buying from businesses. People are buying from people. They want to know, like, and trust them. So our customers want to have a personal relationship with us, and video gives us a way to, even though it's not a two-way communication, it gives us a way to communicate much more about who we are than still images or text do.
Totally. And they get who you are. They get who you are, which they're not going to get from, I don't know, Wells Fargo or,
right.
A multinational. They're not going to get that. They're going to get a spokesperson, a spokesmodel, and there's nothing authentic about it. Yeah. There's just nothing that resonates with it. Maybe a celebrity endorsement rubs off and communicates something in particular, but what really communicates is who you are. And for for your customers, for the small business owner, what communicates is who they are, and video handles that. Yeah. Even if you and ah and stumble, and that's all beautiful. That's all literally, the thing that you think, that people think is the hindrance of, or the reason not to do video is always the reason to do video. Yeah. It's that stuff that you think is going to get in the way is the stuff that people are going to love about you.
Yeah. Oh, this looks so unprofessional. Well, it looks real. It looks authentic. Yeah.
That's right. I'm with you 100%. I think it's definitely the answer there.
Awesome. Well, Aaron, as we're wrapping it up here, is there any advice that you have for the business owners watching, or is there anything that you would have done differently that you would like to let people know about so they don't make the same mistake you did?
Well, I do think, those things about cost of acquisition.
Yeah.
And measuring where your business comes from now, knowing your effective sales channels today. I wish I had done those two things sooner, for sure, is figured that out. And it's figure outable. And if you're in a business where you don't think it's figure outable, you're wrong. And you need to figure it out, because your business is coming from somewhere, and you want to know what to maximize. You want to know what to minimize, and it'll give you the basis upon which you can then move into something new, because you'll have a comparison. You'll know, okay, I want this to turn into this, or I want, you got somewhere that if you don't know where you're going, you'll never know when you get there, kind of thing. You need to know where you're going.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, cost of acquisition can be difficult in the beginning if you're trying to calculate all your sales and marketing overhead costs, because it seems like every customer is an infinite cost then, right? Because all of your time is going toward this. But if you really just focus on how much each channel is costing you, how much are we spending on ads on this particular network, how much are we spending on making content, whatever. If you look at it that way, then it's absolutely doable from the beginning.
Yeah. And I think that's an interesting thing, it's like how much business comes from content marketing. That's not direct sales, generally not direct sales. I mean, sometimes it is. Sometimes you do content and they respond to it and you can measure it that way. But even, you can just tell the truth about how many of those people came to you because they saw you on Facebook. How many people came to you because your presence there. And it's true. In the beginning, it's difficult it won't be as accurate as it will be later, but you got to get started. And it gets accurate later.
You've got to have all those kind of ups and downs on your on your chart at the beginning,
Yeah.
and then it starts to level off and make a little bit
That's
more
right.
sense. Yep.
That's right. Yeah.
Well,
Cool.
Erin, it's been, as always, an absolute treat. Thank you so much for coming on and
My
sharing your
pleasure.
expertise.
Love to. I love doing it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Take care, Erin. Bye.
Well, that's a wrap. If you enjoyed this episode of Marketing Made Easy, please subscribe to Jottful's YouTube channel. That's JOTTFUL. That way, you'll never miss an episode. We'll meet you on the next one.